hang in there. That's another tip I have for you, is hang in there. Because there are sometimes where we feel like we're hitting a plateau, but life operates on a delay system. You work hard all fall, all autumn, and it feels like you're not getting anywhere, but those results might come to you in the spring, right? Sometimes you're at a kind of a work plateau where maybe you aren't working that hard, and we all go through that sometimes, but sometimes you're just at a results plateau. You just hang in there, keep going, do what you're doing, because if you're not in a funk, you're gonna come out of it on the other side. What did Winston Churchill say? An Indian quoting Winston Churchill, not maybe a good look, but I love his quote where he goes, if you're going through hell, keep going, right? What choice do you have? If you're going through hell, keep going, because sometimes life is like a spring, you're getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down, but you're gonna pop up. You're gonna convert that, potential energy to kinetic energy. Reduce miscommunication. I made a number of changes to my style, and this has saved me a lot of frustration. One of them is to find out if your manager or your audience, do they like to read first or listen first? This is a big one, because sometimes people like to read first. They want an email in their inbox, they want to go through all the charts and the attachments, and then they want a meeting. Other people are completely other way around. They're like, no, don't talk to me in the hallway, okay? Go ahead and, they want to be cornered in the hallway. Some people do, and some people want it the other way around. And that miscommunication happens all the time, because they're like, well, I wish you would have just talked to me about it first without sending me all of this stuff. And some people like it the other way around. So I think that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind. Closing the loop with people is really, really effective. A lot of time people introduce me to people. It happens a lot in entertainment, but it happened a lot in engineering too, where I wanted a mentor, or I wanted some advice from somebody. Go back and close the loop with the person who made the introduction. People don't do that a lot of the time. Like, oh, what happened with that thing? Did that happen? And if you go back and you say, hey, thanks, I ended up meeting with David and we had a great conversation, that will go a long way to relationship building. I'm not going to play this clip because it's been seen 26 million times on YouTube. You've probably seen it. If not, maybe you've heard of it. You can YouTube it. It's called It's Not About the Nail. And it is a great conversation between a man and a woman about whether she wants him to solve her problems or not. But one of my managers at the Page had a great philosophy. So when I sat down with him, he had all these rules for engagement of how to work with him and for him. And he goes, well, you work for me, so I can wear 3 hats. Because when you come to my office, I'm your boss. I have an evaluator hat on. So when you bring a memo to me and you present it to me, I am evaluating you. That is my job. I am your boss, okay? You could fix that. I can wear another hat. It's called sounding board. All you had to do when you came in here was write draft at the top of it. And I will be a sounding board for you. I will help you craft this memo. We'll go back and forth. I may still be evaluating you because I'm your boss, but at the same time, you've lowered the expectation because you haven't presented it as a formal, finished document. Because the third hat I wear is called Venter. You want to come in here, it's a Friday afternoon, and you just want to put your feet on my desk, put your hands behind your head, and talk about how much this place sucks. I'm down. I'm down to do that with you. If you want to just vent and get it off your chest, but you got to tell me that's what you're doing. And it works in personal relationships too. I've done this with my wife. It works. I mean, I can't wear a evaluator hat. She made that very clear. She goes, no evaluator hat. You don't get to wear that one, okay? But she goes, this is really helpful sometimes, where I go, I just wanted you to listen. Right? People say that all the time. All I wanted was, sometimes you just want someone to put their arm around you and go, that really sucks. I'm sorry you're going through that. That's all I needed. I didn't need you to try to fix it, okay? But other times, I do want your input. Well, tell me that then. Tell me that that's what you wanted. And I think that will avoid a lot of miscommunications and prevent a lot of divorces, I think. Now, applying for a job, this probably belongs more in the collegiate section than the pro section, but I thought this was interesting. This idea of trying to ask questions in an interview. Hopefully you retire in your current jobs and you're super happy, but if you're ever looking for another job, I posted this on Quora. I don't know how many people here know Quora. I think a lot of technical people are on Quora, so I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads right now. So somebody had asked, what reply does the interviewer expect when he or she asks, do you have any questions for us? And I posted, the last 5 people who have held this position, where are they now? Hands down, the best question I've ever heard. I wish I could remember the source so I could attribute. Of course, if it's a new company or role, there may not be 5 people, but you get the point. I've now asked it myself a number of times, and it impresses the heck out of the interviewer, as it's almost always a stumper. From my perspective, nothing is more important than this information, because it tells you where the role leads. I want to know if the last few people got promoted, were fired, changed departments, went back to school, or slept with the boss's spouse. Okay, I'm kidding on that last point, but seriously, what is more important than this? It has, what, 700,000 upvotes or views, I guess, 6,000 upvotes, 700,000 views. It really resonated with people because at the end of the day, isn't that the point? You want to know, where does this job lead? That's going to be really, really important. If everyone goes, yeah, they stayed in it for 30 years, they loved it, they retired, that's probably a good job, potentially. Finally, on this piece, recall the law of averages. Things have a way of reverting to the mean. At the University of Cincinnati, materials engineering, I remember I got a B in my mechanics class, and there was no plus-minus system at the time. I was so pissed off. I really wanted an A. I got an A in fluid mechanics, and that made me so happy because I worked so hard in that class. I got an A, I was so happy. I got a B in mechanics. It was mechanics 2. I was so angry about it. And I marched into Dean Young's office, and I told him, I'm like, I should have had an A in this class. He was a very calm man, and he looked at me, and he goes, okay, maybe you should have had an A in this class. But admit to me right now, there are probably times when you got an A and you should have gotten a B. And I realized how right he was. I also want to punch him in the face because that made so much sense. I'm like, you are so right about that, Dean Young. That's not fair, but you're right. But it's the same thing you will say to a cop. A police officer will stop you. You'll say, but officer, I was not speeding. And most police officers will look at you and go, well then fine. This ticket is for every other time that you were.